The Analects is a collection of sayings and conversations by Confucius, compiled by his students after his death around 479 BCE. It is one of the most influential books in human history, shaping Chinese culture, politics, and ethics for over 2,000 years. The book is not systematic philosophy. It is a collection of fragments, advice, observations, and responses to questions. Confucius did not write a treatise. He taught through example and conversation. Confucius lived during the spring and autumn period, a time of political chaos in China. The Zhou dynasty was collapsing. Warlords fought for power. Social order was breaking down. Confucius believed that the solution was not military force, but moral education. If leaders cultivated virtue and led by example, society would naturally follow. If people understood proper relationships and roles, harmony would emerge. His goal was to restore social stability through ethical transformation. The central concept in the Analects is Ren, often translated as humaneness, benevolence, or goodness. Ren is the quality of caring about others and treating them with respect and compassion. It is the foundation of all other virtues. A person with Ren does not harm others, does not act selfishly, and seeks to help people flourish. Confucius says that achieving Ren is difficult, but within reach for anyone willing to work at it. If you are interested in philosophy about building a good society through personal virtue, subscribe to SnapOldWisdom. We break down the books that shaped how civilizations think about ethics, order, and leadership. Subscribe now, and let us get into why Confucius says, what you do matters more than what you believe. Another key concept is Li, which means ritual, propriety, or proper conduct. Li includes everything from formal ceremonies to everyday manners. Bowing to elders, offering tea correctly, conducting a funeral properly. These are not empty gestures. They are expressions of respect and reinforce social roles. Confucius believed that practicing Li cultivates virtue. If you go through the motions of respect, eventually you internalize respect. Behavior shapes character. Confucius emphasizes filial piety, respect for parents and ancestors. This is the foundation of social order. If people learn to respect their parents, they will respect elders, teachers, and rulers. The family is the training ground for society. A person who cannot be loyal to their family cannot be trusted in public life. Filial piety is not blind obedience. It includes correcting parents when they are wrong, but doing so respectfully. The ideal person in Confucian thought is the junzi, often translated as gentleman or superior person. The junzi is not defined by birth or wealth, but by character. A junzi cultivates virtue, practices propriety, and serves the common good. They are honest, courageous, and humble. They seek to improve themselves constantly. Confucius contrasts the junzi with the small person, who is selfish, dishonest, and concerned only with personal gain. Confucius also introduces the concept of the rectification of names. Names and roles must match reality. A ruler who does not rule justly is not truly a ruler. A father who does not care for his children is not truly a father. When names and realities diverge, society falls into chaos. People must live up to the roles they occupy. If you are a teacher, teach well. If you are a leader, lead justly. The integrity of language reflects the integrity of society. One of the most famous passages in the Analects is Confucius' formulation of the Golden Rule. A student asks if there is one word that can guide your life. Confucius answers, Shu, which means reciprocity or empathy. He explains, do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. This principle appears 500 years before Christ and is remarkably similar to the Christian version. The Golden Rule is universal. Confucius was pragmatic about politics. He believed that good government depends on good leaders, not good laws. Laws are external constraints. They can enforce compliance, but cannot cultivate virtue. A ruler who leads by moral example does not need harsh punishments. People will follow naturally. A ruler who relies on force and punishment will create a society of resentment and calculation. People will obey the letter of the law, but violate its spirit. Confucius valued education above everything. He believed that anyone could improve themselves through study and practice. He accepted students from all backgrounds, not just the aristocracy. This was radical for his time. He taught history, poetry, music, and ritual. These subjects were not abstract. They were tools for moral development. Poetry teaches empathy. History teaches judgment. Music cultivates harmony. Ritual teaches respect. The Analects also contains practical advice about everyday life. Confucius says that when eating, do not seek to be full. When living, do not seek comfort. Be diligent in your work and careful in your speech. Choose friends who are better than you so they can improve you. Avoid people who flatter or deceive. Speak less and listen more. These are not lofty philosophical principles. They are habits for living well. Confucius was deeply interested in music. He believed music reveals character and shapes the soul. Good music promotes harmony and virtue. Bad music promotes disorder and vice. A society's music reflects its moral health. When Confucius heard the music of the ancient sage kings, he was so moved that he did not taste meat for 3 months. Music was not entertainment. It was a form of moral education. One recurring theme is humility. Confucius constantly emphasizes his own limitations. He says he is not a sage, just someone who loves learning. When asked about the afterlife or spirits, he deflects. He says, "We do not yet understand life. How can we understand death? We do not yet serve people properly. How can we serve spirits?" Confucius was focused on this world, not the next. His concern was practical ethics, not metaphysics. Confucius also valued loyalty and trustworthiness. A person without trust is like a cart without wheels. It cannot function. Your word must be reliable. If you make a promise, keep it. If you take a responsibility, fulfill it. Trust is the glue that holds relationships together. Without trust, families fall apart, businesses collapse, and governments fail. Trustworthiness is not optional. It is foundational. The Analects addresses the relationship between knowledge and action. Confucius says that to know something and not do it is not truly knowing. Knowledge without practice is empty. If you know what is right but do not do it, you do not really know. This is why Confucius emphasizes constant self-improvement. Knowing is not enough. You have to embody what you know. Character is revealed in action, not in words. Confucius was not successful in his own lifetime. He traveled from state to state, offering his services as an advisor, but no ruler fully adopted his ideas. He returned home disappointed and spent his final years teaching. His students preserved his teachings after his death. Within a few centuries, Confucianism became the official ideology of the Chinese state. It shaped education, government, and social life for over 2,000 years. Here is what you do with the Analects. First, focus on small actions. Confucius did not preach grand revolutions. He taught that character is built through daily habits. How you speak to your parents, how you treat a stranger, how you fulfill your responsibilities. These small things accumulate. If you want to become a better person, start with the next conversation, the next decision, the next opportunity to practice virtue. Second, lead by example. If you are in any position of influence, teacher, parent, manager, the way you behave sets the standard. You cannot demand respect if you do not show respect. You cannot expect honesty if you lie. Confucius believed that moral authority is more powerful than formal authority. People follow those they admire, not those they fear. If you want to change the people around you, change yourself first. Third, cultivate relationships based on mutual respect. Confucius identified 5 key relationships: ruler and subject, parent and child, husband and wife, older and younger sibling, friend and friend. Each relationship has reciprocal duties. Parents care for children. Children respect parents. Rulers serve the people. People support the ruler. These are not hierarchies of domination. They are networks of mutual obligation. When everyone fulfills their role, society functions. The Analects influenced not just China, but Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and much of East Asia. Confucian values shaped education systems, government bureaucracies, and family structures. The emphasis on education, meritocracy, and social harmony can still be seen in East Asian societies today. The civil service examination system, which selected government officials based on merit, was a Confucian innovation. It lasted for over 1,000 years. Critics of Confucius argue that his emphasis on hierarchy and obedience stifles individuality and critical thinking. The focus on filial piety and respect for authority can be used to justify authoritarianism and suppress dissent. Women were largely excluded from Confucian education and public life. The system was deeply patriarchal. Modern reformers in China criticized Confucianism for holding the country back from modernization. But Confucian values also emphasize education, self-improvement, and moral responsibility. The idea that leaders must earn respect through virtue is a powerful check on tyranny. The emphasis on empathy and reciprocity is a foundation for ethical behavior. The focus on practical wisdom over abstract theory makes Confucianism accessible and applicable. These principles are not limited to ancient China. They are human principles. The Analects is short, around 12,000 characters in the original Chinese. It can be read in a few hours, but it is dense. Every passage rewards reflection. Confucius does not explain everything. He leaves space for interpretation. This is intentional. He believed that students should think for themselves, not just memorize answers. The Analects is not a manual. It is a starting point for a lifetime of reflection on how to live well. One of the challenges of reading the Analects is cultural distance. Many references are to historical figures and events that modern readers do not know. The social structure of ancient China is foreign, but the core insights transcend culture. The importance of integrity, the value of education, the need for empathy, the power of leading by example. These are universal. You do not need to adopt Confucian rituals to benefit from Confucian wisdom. Confucius died thinking he had failed. He did not achieve political power. He did not reform the government. He spent his final years as a teacher with a small group of students. But those students preserved his teachings. They carried his ideas forward. Within centuries, Confucianism became one of the most influential philosophies in human history. What looked like failure in his lifetime became success across millennia. That is the power of ideas. Here's the bottom line. The Analects is a collection of sayings and conversations by Confucius. Compiled after his death around 479 BCE, it teaches that social harmony comes from personal virtue. The key concepts are Ren, humaneness, Li, proper conduct, and the junzi, the superior person. Confucius says, "Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself." Good leaders rule by moral example, not force. Education cultivates virtue. Small actions build character. Relationships are based on mutual respect. The book shaped Chinese civilization for over 2,000 years and influenced all of East Asia. It remains relevant because it addresses timeless questions about how to live well and build a good society. This video was created by combining human research and script writing with AI-assisted visuals and production. Links to the book and related resources are in the description below.